How's this? Can you hear what I'm saying?
Nope.
You can't? You can't hear me?
I can barely hear you.
Well,
There you go.
is that better?
That's better. There you go.
Okay. I have a few of these that you guys can look at if you want. I'm not really good at giving speeches. I normally do discussions and presentations. But no matter what you do, you're going to have to amend the Constitution. There is no other way to fix what's wrong in this country. You can't get there from here in any other way. Now, whether we end up with our august representatives doing this, or whether we do it ourselves, it's going to have to get done. There is no way that the current electioneering system is going to provide any means to address the issues that have been raised by Occupy Wall Street. There is no way to do it. Move to Amend is very much focused on the idea that the Constitution protects individuals, breathing, live persons, not groups of persons, not corporations, actual people. And that's what it's about. We want to amend the Constitution in such a way that the Supreme Court cannot tie itself up to look like a pretzel and use special glasses to read the First Amendment to come up with the crap that they've come up with. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to make it very, very clear to these screwballs that in fact only people have rights, not corporations. This is pretty simple. Very simple. So, for Move to Amend, that's what it's about. It's not really about campaign finance reform, although that's part of our amendment. The major part of our amendment is the first part. And it clearly says that the rights conveyed in this Constitution are the rights of people, individual persons. Now I'm going to get a little bit technical here, okay? But I'm going to tell you that there is a proper way to interpret the Constitution, and in matter of fact, a proper way to interpret any set of laws. And this begins with something called expressio unius est exclusio alterius, which is Latin. And I probably didn't say that right, but that's how it's in the law books. They put it in there in Latin. Succinctly, the inclusion of the one is the exclusion of all others. So if you say that only people have constitutional rights, then groups of people do not have constitutional rights. Real simple. You look at the First Amendment, and it says that constitutional protections are for the church, the press, and the people assembled as we are to point out their grievances to the government. That's right there in the First Amendment. By including those groups, other groups are excluded. Corporations do not have these rights. The Supreme Court seems to want to interpret the First Amendment to where it says that the legislature cannot create laws that abridge the right to free speech, with no other verbiage in the entire amendment. Technically, that is incorrect. If you go on to specify groups that have such protections, the rest are excluded. That is the way it is supposed to be interpreted. And our Supreme Court didn't interpret it that way. They inferred what they wanted. We can't allow that. We have to amend the Constitution to make sure that these bozos understand what it says. Move to amend is not really about changing the Constitution. We're merely about clarifying it to where everyone can understand it. That's all we're about. And we're doing pretty well. Nationally, I don't know, I think we've got several hundred cities on board with resolutions. I think 5 or 6 states on board with resolutions that want to change the Constitution to in fact clarify, just clarify, that people have rights, corporations have privileges, and those privileges are granted to them by the legislature. To turn around and say that the legislature can't regulate that which was created is ridiculous. And yet, that's what the Supremes have said. So, I hope that everyone here will join up with Move to Amend. If given the chance, if given the opportunity, you'll repeat what I'm saying to you today. If you're asked to sign a petition for Move to Amend, I hope you will do so. And I guess that ends my speech. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys.